coming back and changing and trying to do the right thing, they came back and said this.
Pregnant women, let there be 1 million, kill them. That is what is going to cause the international community not to be sending diplomatic envoys across. They will send soldiers down there to cause a buffer zone between the Southern Cameroon people and Cameroon.
Made over and over again is that it's going to be the Cameroonian community that's going to have to come up with the solution. That this is not an issue that the international community is going to solve for you. The community is going to solve for you. I know that's disappointing, and I know so many members of the community have the list of grievances, including the historical grievances going back to 1961 and various historical and academic points of view. And I tell people that we need to deal with reality, the way the world works, not the way we want the world to work.
Steve Jobs started at the age of 21. Mark Zuckerberg started at the age of 19. Jeff Bezos started at the age of 30. Elon Musk started at the age of 22. Alexandra the Great started at the age of 20. Jesus Christ started at the age of 30. All of these great leaders that I just mentioned started very early to be who God created them to be. Hello friends, welcome to another interesting session. We will be analyzing a very interesting video today. Like I previously mentioned or do mention all the time, this platform is designed for Cameroonians under the age of 40 who believe that we can achieve peace, unity, freedom, and prosperity in Cameroon without bloodshed, without violence. And if you are above the age of 40 and you believe in this initiative, we welcome you. If you think otherwise, if you think violence is your strategy, then this platform and this video is not for you. Today, we will be analyzing a video that has to do with the Ambazonia struggle, but most importantly, we will be actually unpacking the science of mentorship. Because if you realize, most of our leaders traveled to the diaspora, knocked on the doors of America, Canada, Britain, so that they can get help, right? And they got a response that did not align with their aspirations. So they continue doing what they are doing and expecting that somehow, if we keep doing this, then the international community and other Western nations is going to come to their aid. Growing up in my life, I was raised by a father that was old enough to be my grandfather or great grandfather. My father's first daughter will be 74 right now. So my father had his first daughter at the age of 22, and he was born in 1928. So if my dad was alive today, he'll be approximately 94 years. So what am I saying? I grew up understanding what it meant to be mentored, to be a mentee, and I benefited from that a lot. And that is why when I speak or the way I carry myself, and someone might look at my age and like, oh, this young person, I'm an old soul, and I've grown around a lot of old people, and so I've been inspired by most of them. Most of my friends growing up have been old people, and for that reason, I've been able to see further in life. So this idea of the science of mentorship was actually coined out by Sir Isaac Newton, right? It's a brilliant concept, standing on the shoulders of giants. Because if you want to see far, if you want to go further in life, stand on the shoulders of giants. And these giants are going to provide for you mentorship, direction. It is going to help you not to make the kind of mistakes they made, or the kind of mistake other people or other young people are making. You will not be able to make those mistakes because you're standing on the shoulders of giants. So with that being said, What is mentorship, guys? Mentorship is a relationship in which more experienced or more knowledgeable person helps to guide a less experienced or less knowledgeable person. That is just basically what mentorship is all about. So I would like for you to take a listen to this video, and then I'll give my remarks, and then we are going to wrap up. So this video is actually an excerpt of an audio that I extracted out of a speech that was made by the US Parliament or some of the US authorities, that our leaders, the Ambazonian leaders, knocked on their doors and said, we want you guys to come to our nation and help our people, because this is how we see life. We see life this way because we know that prior to 1961, this is the kind of nation that we had. We came together with the French speaking Cameroonians and said we wanted to form a federal nation. And from a federal nation, it went on to become a unitary nation. And from that, we are experiencing marginalization. So we need help. We want to restore the independence that we had prior to joining French speaking Cameroonians, to which these foreign nations or the USA said something very important to our people, which I'm going to have you take a listen, and then from there I'll link it to the concept of mentorship. Because if you will succeed in life, you need mentors. After you're done with school, you go out there and meet the real world. And in the real world, you will need to be guided by people who know better than you. From the definition I've read on mentorship, this video is going to help sync this together, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Made over and over again is that it's going to be the Cameroonian community that's going to have to come up with the solution. That this is not an issue that the international community is going to solve for you. The community is going to solve for you. I know that's disappointing, and I know so many members of the community have the list of grievances, including the historical grievances going back to 1961 and various historical and academic points of view. And I tell people that we need to deal with reality, the way the world works, not the way we want the world to work.
Okay, so I just want to stop there and say something really quick. So most of these leaders traveled to Canada and the United States because they believed that these people are more advanced than they are. They know better. They've had some of the challenges that we are dealing with. And if there's anybody that is in the good position to actually give advice or direction, it is these leaders. It was a good idea that they knocked on those doors. It is one thing to have an idea in your mind. How about that idea for, say, 50, 60 years? And you think this idea is a good idea. And if you execute it, you get the results that you want. It's another thing when you meet an experienced person, somebody who knows better than you, and they look at that aspiration that you have, and they say, from the look of things, this is not a good idea. You understand what I'm saying? Because the world actually works a certain way. You see all these Western nations, they've worked extremely hard over the years to craft concepts that enables us to thrive and enjoy the things we do enjoy, like the lighting, like the camera, like the computer, all the things that you desire. These people have worked extremely hard. And so if I want to start, say, a company in Cameroon that produces bulbs, and I meet an expert from the United States that is in that industry, and he tells me what to do, it will be very foolish for me to go back and do it the way I think, and not just benefit from that, just benefit from the expert's experience will make my life, will make that job easy for me. But if I ignore their advice, I'm going to struggle, truth be told. But listening to that expert is going to make things very easy for me. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep listening. So what he just said is, I've told you time again and again, the world works a certain way. You have to follow the way the world works and not how you think that the world should work. You see what I'm saying? And these are people, right? We got to understand, like, that's why I'm talking to young folks here, because you are the leaders of tomorrow. If Cameroon will be great when we are old, if we will have prescription drugs, if we will be able to have a safe community that we live in, it is up to you, the people who are 40 right now and below. If we will have a functioning community, it is up to the people who are 40 and below right now. That is why I don't just give an ear to what most of these old folks are talking, because I've listened to them my whole life. My father took me around old folks a lot, so I experienced them and I know them better than you can even think. And so I have empathy when I hear them talk. I don't look at it and like, okay, I have empathy. They will tell you, oh, I went and deposited these documents when we were under IEJO, and these documents took about 3 months to be approved. They said I have to speak French, and so because I had to speak French, I got mad and I thought I was marginalized, or I struggled a lot. And you ask also, somebody should die because you submitted the documents and you had to wait for 3 months. Does that even make any sense? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, they maltreated us, they infiltrated our system. And what do you expect in a nation that predominantly speaks French? Joining with a nation that predominantly speaks French. Right here, I live in Texas. It is a bilingual state. Do you understand what I'm saying? You cannot ignore facts and try to be right. You see what I'm saying? I live in Texas. The predominant language here is English. But there are a lot of people right here in Texas that speak Spanish. If you speak Spanish and English, it is a bonus for you. You can get enormous opportunities speaking both languages. But if you speak English, you will do just fine here. And anyone coming from Mexico to the United States or living in Texas, they know it is a privilege to have someone that speaks Spanish and English, and that person can be able to help them in whatever office they go into. It is not a must that Texans should speak Spanish, but speaking both languages can help you have enormous opportunities. You see what I'm saying? But they cannot impose Spanish. The predominant language in Texas is English. And that is a fact. And we have been deprived of learning French. And I think this was something that would have benefited us. Me, myself, I rebelled against French because of the indoctrination. And today I wish I knew both languages. I'll be able to make a better life for myself in Cameroon if I did speak English and French. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think I'm digressing a little bit, but I just want us to be on track with this. We are talking about the power of mentorship, the importance of you being mentored and taking advice. Because if I'm mentoring someone, of which I've seen, because I've lived here in the States and I've had the privilege to be mentored by white folks, walk with them, not just from afar, but close. Not them being my boss, but us being partners, or them being my mentor. You see what I'm saying? And I've been able to understand how they function. People don't understand how the white man, there's the white man, right? That's how we call it. White man actually works, how their system works. If they tell you something one time, because they got a lot going on in their lives and in their communities and in their cities as well, they have a lot to worry about. So if they tell you something once and you come back and keep saying the same thing, the same way you came in, and it's the same track that you want to walk on, they're just going to ignore you and never ever think, because we've had this concept, because we've seen other nations that fought and maybe millions of people died. And we think, okay, if we do the same, then they will come to our aid. They've heard it come out of your mouth and they know that is what you're waiting for. So no matter how long you fight, they're not coming to help you with anything. You get what I'm saying? And there's some truth that we have to grasp and accept the reality. They know what you guys are up to. You want to kill many people so that they can have mercy on you and come help you. And they're not going to do that. When they tell you something once, the next step is they want you to come back and say, I went out there and tried what you told me, and these are some of the challenges that we have experienced. This is what we are experiencing. They will be willing to come in and help you if you follow the track that they set for you. But if you come back to tell them you are still stuck on what you believe and they know it's not going to work, they will ignore you. That is what I've experienced right here in the States. Even in my family and some other people, like people don't just have the time to be talking to you, an elderly person, you're grown and you are mature, you're an adult, they keep talking to you again and again. That's why you see above the age of 40, you're set in your ways. It's hard to change. You see what I'm saying? And that is why God uses a lot of people below that age group. All the greats that you've seen, most of the greats in our dispensation and of our history, God has always used people below that age group because it's hard to change after 40. And sometimes you just got to pray for some of those people. And like, I know it's hard to change. I remember I had a friend in Dallas. He was about 56 at the time. And he was doing things a certain way. And I looked at it, I'm like, this is not going to help you. What are you doing? It's not working. And he turned around and looked at me and said, what you're saying is right. But look at me, see how old I am. You think it's going to be easy to change that easy? You have to keep talking, but with time, I'll see how to change. And I understand that. I'm empathetic about that. Do you guys understand? So let's keep listening.
So those people who, issue paper after paper that, the international community needs to get active, the international community needs to solve this, I tell you, that is not going to be done. So it's going to be up to the Cameroonian community. The issue of Southern Cameroons is your priority number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in life. And that's how it should be. But for America at large, the issue of the Cameroons does not even come up on the radar screen.
Okay, I thought I'd break some of this rhetoric down so we can be able to grasp what he said, because it feels like maybe it could be a language problem, right? Maybe interpretation or comprehension. It might be an issue, right? We don't understand what they're saying. He says it doesn't even appear on the radar. That is, if they have 100 problems or they have 10 problems, the issue of the English-speaking Cameroonians doesn't appear among the 10 or 100 issues that they are dealing with globally. It doesn't even appear among them. You see what I'm saying? And they've heard everything that you guys have said, the plans that you guys have. And so no matter what you try, it is a waste of time thinking that somehow someone in the diaspora will come to your rescue. This is just failed mentorship, right? When a mentor gives you an advice and you don't act on it, they will not waste time advising you, keep advising you, hoping that you change. Do you get what I'm saying? But if you do what they say, the next thing is they will help you if you're facing challenges, trying to do what they told you to do. That's what I've seen here with white folks and how they operate. The next thing is when you succeed at what they told you, which is mentorship. We are mentees. If we didn't think that they can help us, that is, we came to them because we believe they know better. They have the power. They have the resources. They have the military. They have everything to help us. So if you do what they told you and you succeeded, the next thing is they will take you to be a good mentee. They will consider you a good mentee. And if they consider you a good mentee, the next step is they will introduce you to their network. Are you understanding how it works? So young people, that is why I make all these videos. It's not for the old folks. I mean, it's not for them. It's for you. When they realize that you're obedient, you're learning, trust me, you will go far. And it's the same with me. Any young person that I'm mentoring, because if you have been the beneficiary of mentors, that's why I will never ever disrespect the legacy of Ninja Fronti. No matter what you do or say to me or persuade me, I will never disrespect the legacy of someone like Ninja Fronti. I will never disrespect the legacy of someone like Fon Angwafo. Because the community that he helped build in Bamenda, that gave me the opportunity to go to school, I will always have respect for that. I might not agree with everything that Angwafo did. I might not agree with everything that Ninja Fronti did. But because of who I am today, the community that they were able to create for me, I will always respect them. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. You see what I'm saying? We cannot disrespect these giants and expect to be blessed. You see what I'm saying? They say if you want to go far in life, stand on the shoulders of giants. I can never disrespect the Americans. I can never disrespect the British. I can never disrespect some European countries. The reason is because I've drawn inspiration from leaders from this nation. And so I'm standing on their shoulders. Everything, guys, there is hierarchy in everything. You cannot do that and think that you will go far in life. It's going to be hard. Just like I can't disrespect Jesus Christ. I cannot disrespect God. I'm standing on the shoulders of these giants. And because I'm standing on their shoulders, I know I will go far. I know I can see far. I know I can see 100, 200 years into the future because I'm standing on the shoulders of these giants. If you want to go far in your career, in your personal life, stand on the shoulders of giants, the right giants. In some cases, it might not even be your biological parents because they might be limited in their own ways. Maybe they are not exposed, but there are some people in your community. There are some people that have written books that you can be inspired by their ideas, by their knowledge, and be able to see far. So let's keep listening.
Not only is it not a front burner issue, it is not a back burner issue. And quite frankly, I wonder if the pot is even on the stove.
That is amazing. He said, I wonder if that pot is on the stove. That's a very powerful phrase he made, that the pot that you guys call Ambazonia is not even yet on the stove in the community or in this parliament. In this community of dignitaries, your pot is not on our stove. Man, if I heard this dude, I'm just gonna lay everything that I'm doing on the ground and go do what they told me. And if what they told me don't work, or I'm facing challenges, I'll call them. Sir, you told me to go do X, Y, Z. Right now I'm facing these challenges. I need your help. I need your help. You told me to do it this way, and I'm doing it that way. It's not working for me. What do you expect me to do? They will ask you, what exactly are you experiencing challenges with? And then they will help. They'll hop in and help you. And then the next step, and then the next step. That is how easy life is. People think life has to be hard. No, if you know how to leverage the experiences of older people, advanced people, more knowledgeable people, smart people, you would not stress in life. My idea comes from looking at the best in the world and model what they are doing because it has worked for them. I don't have to invent the wheel. I'm not going to be looking at some broke African nation that had independence separating from another nation and they are struggling economically today, and I want to use them to be my role model. I'm not. The best example that we can use is Canada. And Canada has been able to work with each other. Both French and English-speaking Canadians have figured out a way to live with each other. And some of these things don't need dialogue. It just needs doing the right thing. Just start doing the right thing for your nation. The dialogue will come in the process of you understanding each other, facing challenges and trying to sort out your differences. That is how the dialogue should be. It should not be going back to 1961 to have a dialogue. All the people who sat in 1961 to bring this nation together, they are all dead and gone. They are all dead and gone. And that is why life is very hard when you choose to go pick issues of the past and trying to make sense of it in a dispensation that is not even applicable. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. So let's keep listening to these videos. We'll listen to this brief video and then we'll wrap up the session. Like I said, I intend to make this really short, right? Make it really short, straight to the point. And if there are some things that you're not understanding, maybe because of the way I speak, because of my accent and everything, please do ask questions. I expect us to ask more of questions. That is how you learn. You start by asking good questions. I will never meet someone that I think knows better than me, is more knowledgeable than me, and I try to impose my opinion. When I come around them, I have a book of questions, at least 7, when I'm meeting someone that I know can help me in an area of my life that I'm facing challenges with, I come with questions, at least 7. I will ask and ask follow-up questions. And then I'll set appointments to make sure that when I go try what they told me and it doesn't work for me, I'm coming back to tell you or ask you, I did what you told me and it's not working. So what is the next step? What do I do? So instead of our leaders coming back and changing and trying to do the right thing, they came back and said this.
Pregnant women, let there be 1 million. Kill them. That is what is going to cause the international community not to be sending diplomatic envoys across. They will send soldiers down there to cause a buffer zone between the Southern Cameroon people and Northern Cameroon. If it is to massacre them for a day, 50,000, do just that. That is what is going to attract international attention and action. Never you guys be afraid of any damn thing. Call international conventions or Geneva, whatever convention. Don't keep that behind your memory. Do the job that will free you and stop thinking of a certain convention elsewhere. You were never a signatory to that convention, like the Southern Cameroon people were never a signatory to that convention. And that.
Okay, so that is the narrative that our leaders came out of a meeting after listening to someone like the audio I just played, and they continue to do it their way. And I will not blame these people at all. And our young people, I'm telling you guys, 40 and below, your mind is still sharp and open to new ideas. And I previously said in another video, Steve Jobs started at the age of 21. Mark Zuckerberg started at the age of 19. Jeff Bezos started at the age of 30. Elon Musk started at the age of 22. Alexandra the Great started at the age of 20. Jesus Christ started at the age of 30. All of these great leaders that I just mentioned started very early to be who God created them to be. And it's amazing that God uses people within that age to actually bring about transformation in the world, including Jesus Christ. It will be your fault if you would turn 50 and blame our old folks, blame this older generation for the life that you're experiencing when you're 50. When I was saying all of these things and you didn't take action, you didn't join this movement to initiate change. So mentorship is all about you learning, taking advice from someone who knows better than you, is more experienced and advanced than you, has had a great exposure than you, and then you go take action. And as you take action, you come back, you give them feedback. Because if you take action on what they told you and you don't come back and give them feedback, they don't even feel like they're making an impact. You come back, you give them feedback, and then you ask more questions. That is how you transform your own life. The reason I'm saying this is because I believe that CSDP, the Cameroon Sustainable Development Project, is the pathway. What we have been given in this dispensation is Cameroon. It's a nation that speaks English and French and is a predominantly French-speaking nation. That is what we grew up seeing. That is what life has given us. There is an old saying that when life gives you lemon, make lemonade. You don't cry, you don't whine, you don't complain, you make lemonade. We have to build a community that in the next 20 years, even these old folks that are angry will have a place in that community. They'll be able to have prescription drugs because some of them are old. In the next 10, 15 years, some of them will be on wheelchairs. Some of them will need nursing homes. Some of them will need a lot of things that if we do not work right now, extremely hard right now, they are going to struggle. And if we do not work, we are going to struggle in the next 60 years. When we are 60, when we have the younger generation, that we have to mentor them so that they can be able to do well, so that when we are old, we will have the resources, we'll have the facilities that will be able to take care of ourselves, if that makes sense. So that is my message to you. Be empathetic towards these young people. Be empathetic towards these old people, but don't follow their tracks. I would not come to the United States of America, sit down in a parliament, listen to knowledgeable and advanced people, and go back and do the same way that I've been doing. That is why democracy doesn't work for us. That is why Christianity doesn't work for us. You know why? We take Christianity, we go to church on Sunday. Throughout the week, some of you go to native doctors. Now you're worshiping two gods, right? And at the end of the day, you get confused with everything and you say, no, that white man's religion doesn't work. It works for them, but not for us. You know why? Because you mixed it with what you have. When you take the original thing, you go do it exactly the way you learned it. That's how you get results. You see what I'm saying? So if your tradition is working for you, you shouldn't come to the white man to get help for anything. If your own beliefs and your traditional ways are working for you, you see what I'm saying? Go keep doing it. But the white people at some stage in their evolution, they also had traditional things like us. They had to do away with it because they realized it was not serving them. But we stick with it. Do you know why our democracy is not working for us? Because we have democracy and we also have some funds that we see them as gods. And why? So we have tradition, right? We have the democracy and we have tradition. To practice the real democracy in the West that you see, they don't have the traditions we have. And that's why the democracy works for them. You see what I'm saying? Capitalism is a byproduct of democracy. It's a brother of democracy, because it's not just about practicing democracy. There is a functioning system within democracy that helps the economy to thrive, and that is capitalism. Right here in the West, they practice capitalism, believing that you can start a business and thrive, and people come work and do the best to become the best based on competence. We have nepotism that is an obstacle to capitalism or democracy. So we choose people based on who we know, not based on competence, including our funds. Is based on birthright, not based on competence. And all of these systems that we mix up with the democracy, with the capitalism, you see what I'm saying? With Christianity, you can never get the results. And the same thing, right? Our leaders come here, they say, oh, this struggle, this issue that we see is impossible for us to get involved. Go fix it. And we come back, we still have another idea that we think if we keep pushing, they will come. They are not coming. I've heard it. I've heard from them. And wait for the next 20 years and hope that they come. They're not going to come. And if at all you kill more people, they come to mediate it. They'll come to bring peace so that you guys can integrate in that society. It will not to divide you. You see what I'm saying? Because they know your motives. And this is what this is doing for the larger Cameroon community. What this is doing for the larger Cameroon community, it is going to make things hard for most Cameroonians who aspire to travel abroad and make a life for themselves. Because what they are saying is, we are a group of stubborn people that will never learn something new. What we have in our minds and belief, we will continue with it even if it is not working. That is the message they are sending across the world. Very soon it will be hard for you guys to get certain jobs. It will be hard for you guys to actually grow and expand and climb that corporate ladder in most nations that you find yourself in. Why? Because this is the ideology that we are spreading about ourselves, that this is the kind of people we are. Imagine that we went back and did the right thing, came back and said, okay, it's not working for us. They will start liking and trusting you. They will show you even greater things that you haven't seen to help enhance the quality of life for the Cameroonian. And they will introduce you to other circles, other nations, other leaders that will help make life better for us. But we will not get that if we don't stand up today and change and let the world know that within that community, there are other individuals that think different, that are not stubborn, that will listen and that will learn. I hope this message was inspiring to you. You understood the value of mentorship. You understood how to carry yourself around, how to ask questions. Most importantly, come back and give feedback and ask further questions so that you can enhance the quality of your life. I love you guys so much. And until next time, stay blessed. All right. If you like this video, you're going to like this other episode, and you can watch it by clicking right here.